All right. Hello, everyone. Let me get you all set up and good to share. You should be all set, Bill, to pull up your screen when you're ready.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. It's Marcy here from Nina. So happy that you were able to join us. We will be recording this, obviously, if you heard the little prompt. So it's available for replay on our website within a day or two once we're completed. I'm very excited to have Bill Gimbel from Secured with us today. He's done several of these with us, and specifically here today to talk about AI and deep fakes, which is a big conversation out there. Bill, thank you so much for joining us. I so appreciate it.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Marcy, again for allowing me this opportunity for both education and awareness to the notary community. The notary community, its rules, its presentation, its environment is changing dramatically, as we were just discussing. So it's incumbent upon the notaries to become and stay educated. That's one of the exciting things about what we do is it's ever changing, which gives us license to study more. I've
True.
often said that a remote online notarization degree for a notary is an advanced degree.
Hmm.
And as we had discussed, you don't just go to a college, pay it the tuition, and then say, "Here, give me my diploma." No, you got to go through classes. You got to study. You got to understand your subject material. And hopefully today, this will be an effort towards that end.
Absolutely. So, just a couple of housekeeping tips. If you have any questions, if you wouldn't mind dropping them in the Q&A, and we'll stop periodically to answer those. And certainly we'll have a few minutes at the end. If you have any questions, also feel free to chat amongst yourselves in the chat. But I'm going to turn this over to Bill because he's the one you're really all to talk to. So, Bill, I can see your screen. We're all set there. It's all
Oh,
you from here.
okay, perfect. Okay, again, thanks guys for joining today and for logging in and viewing this when you can. Let me go to my first slide. We're going to go a little bit about secured signing, and I'm going to try to keep this presentation as agnostic as possible. I'm often called on by secretaries of states to present to their state's notaries what to look for in a RON platform, which I believe is an earlier presentation we made. I think the latest one is the state of Maryland. If you go on their website, you'll see me presenting to their state's notaries what to look for in a platform. So I try to keep this informational, topical, and specific to what you should be looking for in the topics of the day. So we're going to go over our platform. Of course, we're a RON platform. It's an all-in-one platform. It includes RON, includes in-person electronic notarization, e-signatures with video confirmation, and hybrid combinations of all those. And as a caveat, of course, I'm not an attorney. I am not offering legal advice, and the bottom line is please check with your Secretary of State's with regards to any provisions or features, benefits, or options that may be available to you via our platform. Because remember, it is incumbent upon the notary to select and utilize a platform consistent with the rules and regulations of your state. So be cognizant of that. Okay, let's proceed. I'm going to try to keep the sales stuff to a minimum. Uh, some important differentiators and things to look for in a platform that we have is when the signer executes on the document, we use PKI digital signatures. It's not what's called an electric or just a picture of a signature. It's a verifiable, traceable signature for the signer. They're called PKI digital signatures. And secured signing is rated in the top three signing platforms, e-signing worldwide. We are a global company. We have users such as potentially yourselves in 75 countries around the world. We have server farms on 4 continents. And the important thing about that, in general, is that the UI, the UX, storage, transactional delivery is all contained within the United States. Nothing is transacted offshore. I know that's a very important aspect to many financial institutions for protection of NPI, and it's also a very important feature for government contracts and government work. So again, anything generated here in the US stays in the US regardless of where your signer is. So that's an important thing to consider. Another feature you should be looking for, and we provide, is an insurance policy to promote and prove best practice. Secured signing is an ISO 2701, SOC 2, HIPAA, FDA, MISMO, CCPA, GDPR for Europe, a compliant platform. And what that means is By having these exhibits, and you certainly are welcome to any of those at a request, you can prove that you're using a platform that third parties have examined and determined to be secure. So if you ever had a problem, you can reach back to us and say, we need your SOC 2, we need your ISO or your HIPAA, or your FDA, your admissible approval certification, because I have a problem with the signing and I have to defend myself as best practice. And that's a great tool in your toolbox to do that. So all platforms or any platform you use should have that level of both compliance and security and validation from independent third parties. Okay, a couple of the differentials here with secured signings. We don't have our own signing service. We don't compete against our notaries. Our notaries are our customers. Your customers are the signers. And I know at the last meeting, there was a big to do about certain platforms that require a signer to log in and create an account on their platform. The purpose for that is so that they can solicit directly to the signers. So you want to be careful and cognizant of that. Uh, our platform allows you, and this is towards promoting yourself, your business. And again, you are our customer, your customer are the signers. Is the platform is white label, meaning that your customers believe it's your platform. It's got your name on it. If you own your own email domain, all the communication that goes out from our platform comes out under your email domain. Again, promoting your brand, your style. The platform is going to include a lot of things that I'll show you in a minute that promote that perception and that reality. The platform cost effectiveness, and that's always a big consideration across all platforms. What does it cost me to get in the club? What does it cost me to do a transaction? If you consider a platform the car, the transaction costs are the gasoline. So once you have, let's say, paid an annual subscription, and a platform will include, I'll show the things we do. What does it cost to do a transaction? Put gas in the tank. So if you put gas in the tank to do a future transaction and that transaction cancels, are those credits returned back to you so you don't waste them? If you purchase credits for future transactions, do you purchase them as needed or must you purchase them monthly? And if so, do they ever expire? So things to be aware of are credits for future transactions that you purchase. Do they ever expire? If they're not used, are they returned back to your credit bank? So that falls under the category of price versus cost. Another key thing is the stability of a platform's company. We've been in business 15 years. We're a global company. We have seen in the last few years, which is not unusual in new technology, for certain platforms to leave the marketplace. And that's really typically a migration of new technology. That's not unusual, but be aware of that. As Marcy and I were discussing, our roles are really educational, and your platform should provide ongoing training, both audio, video, and live. I know we provide live trainings. As a matter of fact, we have a class today at 3 o'clock Eastern time every day. Last week, I think there were 63 notaries in the class. And by attending that, you really ramp up your knowledge base because you listen to the questions other notaries ask. So you accelerate your learning curve. And that's very important. Okay, what is included in our platform and what are those important elements? Well, first, does the platform, is it completely turnkey? We see a lot of notaries that migrate their customers from a paper-based environment to an in-person electronic environment, and from in-person electronic to remote electronic. We also see them use e-signatures as a migration tool to market to their customers. And what I mean by that is, you know, that most all title companies and companies have some sort of e-signature platform where they can send documents out just to be signed. Now, what we offer our notaries to offer to the market to capture and maintain business is e-signature with video confirmation. What that means is a document is sent out to the client to sign, let's say a trailing document from a doc set. When they go to sign the document, it opens up their camera. They're given a liveness command, bring your chin to your chest, your left ear to your left shoulder. And then once that is done, then the signature is applied. So the signed document and that video is sent back to you that you can then forward to your customer, proving who actually signed the document. So those high value documents that don't need to be notarized or typically are not run through an ID verification process, you have the ability to provide a picture, a live video of actually who signed that document. And it costs you nothing. That's something you can upsell your clients. So again, e-signatures with video confirmation is a tool, morphing towards in-person electronic notarization, morphing towards remote online notarization. So that toolkit is very important to have in your market efforts. Does the platform, as does ours, of course, provide an electronic journal? Does it also provide storage of that we stored for 10 years? Now, an important thing to know, and this is often not discussed a lot, is the protection and adherence to law with regards to protection of private information. Does the platform have the ability to, while you, of course, you're in session and you're looking at the document, does the platform have the ability to, when that session is stored in your journal, not display the documents, not display a 1003, which has every bit of personal information you could possibly want in one document? So in your journal is the what's called the camera view. So it shows you, it shows the signers, shows here's the conversation, but it does not display the document in your journal. And consistent to that, be very careful. Now, one of the best things about Ron is that it's a video-based event. So there's no more he said, she said. It's right there for the world to see for 10 years on video. So the bad thing about that is it's recorded and it's on video for 10 years. So be very careful about what you say because it's become part of the transaction, part of your journal. So again, caution yourselves against unauthorized practice of law, opinion, referencing items that could later be brought back to haunt you. So be very cognizant of what you say during a signing. Our platform, of course, includes your stamp. It includes your stamp image, your signature image. It includes a web page that you can use for advertising. It includes knowledge-based authentication and all the ID valuables or variables that are available to you in your state to verify the identity of a client. The KBA can be either in English or Spanish based on your election. We do verify over 5,000 different picture IDs issued by governments of over 200 countries. We also include, which is one of the interesting things about New York, is a requirement for a biometric face match that complies within this 800 standard. So we were actually the first platform that was approved in New York as a result of that regulation. I think it's gone back 2 years now. But we do ID evaluation forensically and then biometrically face match in a live environment the signer with the face on the ID that was determined forensically to be genuine. We also have, and this has been a very, very huge adoption in this curve of this product element, is Spanish translation. We have the ability for the default invite and all instructional pop-ups to be in Spanish. Obviously, you should be fluent in the language when you're conducting a session, but it helps if the platform's directional pop-ups are also in Spanish and you have this election on a client by client basis. You have the ability, and this is a requirement in Europe, to blur the background of a signer. If the signer does not want their background disclosed, they can blur their background. Again, that's a GDPR requirement. Even though it may be a US citizen, they're in France, they need to have that ability to blur their background to protect privacy and people behind them. One of the most exciting and differentiating aspects, and all platforms should have it, unfortunately they do not, is the ability to edit a process of the session in the middle of a session. If you missed a signature, if you missed an initial, a checkbox, a date, can you add it in the middle of the signing? Can you completely swap out the docs without having to reprep them? And I'll show you that in a demonstration how that works. Okay, now on to one of the big reasons for our presentation is deepfake detection. We know in the news this has become a billion-dollar crime industry feature, and we are the first platform to provide both an audio and a video deepfake environment. And let me show you how that works. Now, I can't do it live because I'm on one computer, two cameras, three browsers, and a microphone. But let me show you how that works. Let me open up because it's really cool. Okay, let me paste that URL in there. Now, this is a video I made for you guys. Marketing is making a much slicker one, but this will get the point across. Okay, I'm gonna mute the mic and narrate this. So when a client signs in, as you'll see in a moment when we go through the quick demo,
Hey, Bill, if you can hear me, I
yeah,
think, oh, great. It got very quiet over there and nothing moved, so I wanted to make sure we didn't lose you.
yeah, okay. When a client logs in, and I'll show you this in the process. And again, for some reason, I can't mute it, so I'm going to try to talk over it. Is they're instructed that they're going to be given a deepfake test. This is when they first log in and have gone through a KBA. So they start a scan, they focus their face in the outline, they say those two words, and then a deepfake test is run. And then at that point, they're going to be taken into to the session. So I'll show you how that works. They're waiting for the notary to allow them into session. The notary logs in, as you see here, allows them into session, and then they can run another deepfake test. So there's a deepfake test run concurrent with the ID evaluation process and workflow, and then another one run in the middle of the signing. And I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, here again, you'll see this when I do the quick demo of how the platform works. So the signer is now going to be let into the session by the notary, and at that point, the signer, and that's my backyard, that's playing the role of the signer. Uh, so you see the result, both the audio and video were authentic. So the you start the meeting, and once in the meeting, you can run that test again to determine that again that is a genuine person, not an avatar. Both of these are available in your journal, both the recording and the results of the audio video deepfake test. So you'll see now in a moment that the notary will institute a test. The notary controls it. He can explain to the signer, okay, hold your face here in the screen. Okay, then repeat the two words that appear on screen. So you'll see me in a moment click on the uh, icon there under my face and click start scan. And then you can talk to the notary and explain, or the signer, and explain how to conduct that. So then at this point, another deepfake test is run. It takes about 30 seconds to propagate. So you can, at this point, begin your introductory script with regards to making the client aware that they're being recorded and any of the statutory requirements in your state. So you've got the pre-meeting and the mid-meeting detection. So you're confident that this indeed is not a deepfake. So that is how that is run.
Bill, I don't was there supposed to be a movie or something playing? Because your screen hadn't changed from the secured signing key
Oh
features.
gosh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I understood. So what I'll do, Marcy, in the follow-up, in respect to everyone's time, is I'll send you a link to that recording. Will
Yeah,
that
that'll
work?
be perfect.
Yeah. So the concept is that the notary, a deepfake is run at the time of ID evaluation, and then a deepfake is run again during the middle of the signing or the beginning of the signing. And then that results reported into your journal, as are the video associated with the deepfake test. Again, I apologize for that. Okay, I had mentioned that our platform includes, excuse me, a web page, and that web page will allow you to advertise. It also allows your clients to chat with you. It would connect immediately to your cell phone. It allows them to upload documents that are encrypted in transit, which is a requirement in many verticals, and obviously a very best practice. So it allows them to upload documents to you. It allows them to schedule appointments, reach out to you. You can use it for advertising as well. If you have a website, obviously we can also insert your web page of your website. We do have what's called an online on-demand feature. And what that means is if you've elected to participate, secured signing advertises in a number of social media environments like Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, for people that are looking to have documents notarized. And if you are logged into the platform, you don't have to be active. You can open it up and desktop it, and somebody enters a request to have a notary contact them, you will come up. Now, you will be competing against other notaries, but typically what occurs is people will put in their state. So it kind of limits the national aspect of competing against other notaries. So that's a feature that we do offer. And I'm going to quickly go over pricing. That's important, obviously. Our annual subscription is $430. For the first notary, if you're working with notaries in your network to provide vacation release and other relief and other services, subsequent notaries are only $120. And that includes all the features that I just went over. So the car comes with a tank full of gas. We have provided of that 430, $50 in practice for transitional credits. And again, future credits, once those are exhausted, can be purchased as needed. You don't have to purchase them well in advance. Now, again, we analogize the platform with the car and the credits as gasoline. A credit is $1. Statutorily, you're required to record this session. That's $5 to record it. To add a stamp is $1. And that can be a person before me appeared John Smith and Mary Smith, and that's one stamp. A KBA, the knowledge base authentication, is $1. ID verification is $3. And then, of course, a deepfake is $1. So those are the gas that you got to put in the tank when you're ready to do your next transaction. Okay. And I'll go over that a bit more thoroughly in a moment when we get to this site. So now let's go to the actual platform itself. Marcy, do we have any questions up to this point?
No, no questions. You're doing great.
Okay, let's log into the platform. Okay, let me open up another frame here. And you'll find secured signing is very, very transparent. I've determined early on, the more educated a notary is and what to look for in the platform, the more likely they are to use ours. You know, I'm the architect on two other platforms. I did my first RON overview transaction in July 2013. That's now 12 years ago. Prior to that, I had one of the nation's largest signing services. So we know what goes on in the market. We know what goes on in the field. So we've architected the platform to accommodate those dynamic requirements that occur in a live environment. But if you go to our website right now and click on Notary and then click on Notary University under Advanced Features, and actually there's a deepfake detector that you can look at right there as well. But if you go to the Notary University, we have a host of training videos. As you can see on what does it look like from the signer side? How do I host a session? What does ID and credential analysis look like? Uh, if I'm in Florida, what does my vulnerable adult question format look like? How to set up and manage your notary event. All these are available to you right now, as are a number of webinars. And one of the more interesting webinars, I think, is this Learn to Earn as a Notary with Secured Signing. We know, and the NNA mentions that there's 1 billion notarial transactions that occur every year in the mortgage market, financial services mortgage market. What percentage, and I would appreciate if you guys would put your best guess in the chat, and I'll give you the answer in a bit. What percentage of that 1 billion do you think occur in the mortgage market? So if you guys could go to chat and put your best guess in there, and I'll reveal the hard number as distributed by the Mortgage Bankers Association. So again, this is part of our training aids. We do hold live trainings every Thursday, as I mentioned earlier. But to log into our platform, move this out of the way, we're going to click login. And Marcy, please let me know if my screen changes or doesn't.
Yep, I'll let you know. So, yep, take a
Yeah,
quick look at the
thanks.
platform that's on that screen still.
Okay, and now you should see the website, or in a moment when it propagates. Are we there, Marcy?
Not there yet.
How about now?
Nope, not there still.
Okay, let me do. How about now? I got rid of a browser.
No, not yet.
That's interesting. Okay, let me do this. Let me pull this down. Oh, I see. It's for some reason it is paused. Bear with me, guys.
It's always a good, not that we love when these things happen, but it does reflect. Technology does have little glitches every once in a while, and the best way to react to those is calmly. All right, I see a whole variety of percentages: 75, 25, 45, 82, 20. Good job, you guys.
Okay, the actual number as published by Adam, which is the research technology firm of the Mortgage Bankers Association, last year it was 1.47, less than 2%. So
Wow.
that begs the question, where in the world are those other transactions occurring? And that's what that Learn to Earn webinar goes over. So you guys can log in right now and look at that. It goes over 4 or 5 different markets that are in need of notaries. So I encourage you to look at that. I encourage you to expand your market beyond mortgage so that when you have downturns, right now we're in a purchase market, your business doesn't suffer cash flow because you're linked just to one market. You want to go to construction, to institutional, to hospital, to attorney. So there's a ton of other markets that you should be investigating to round out your market liability. And that's what that video goes over. Okay, so I'm going to click on Notary Ron. Marcy, we're seeing Ron, IPIN, we sign, I sign.
I'm seeing none of those. Yep, you're still on your PowerPoint slide.
Okay, let me click here, click share.
Oh, there we
Voila,
are. We're
voila.
here. Perfect.
Okay. And that's the challenge, guys, when you're using one computer, 2 cameras, 3 browsers. It's a lot of clicking around. Okay, let's get to the demonstration. Again, the platform includes Ron, IPIN, and WeSign. So to transact an event on Ron, you click on, obviously, on Ron. And again, in our setup field, you have the ability to elect that during the session, the recording will only show the camera views and not the actual document. So be cognizant of that. I'm going to upload a single document. It could be 150 pages. If you have our web page and a client sent you a document, it would land here. If you have a document that you use over and over and over again, like applications, student loan applications, statement of educational purpose that needs to be filled out and notarized, you can create that as a template, and that expedites the prepping process dramatically. But I'm just going to select just a loan mod agreement, I believe. Let me just grab one. Okay, and this could be your transaction number. This is internal purposes only. It could be a mortgage number, a mattered number, an escrow number, or your invoice number. It's just for internal purposes. And you're going to select next. Okay, now we are going to select the date and time for the session. Now, if you are working with a larger group of notaries under your banner, under your subscription, you can create queues. Those are a subset of your notary pool. A very common is Spanish-speaking notaries. So you would prep the document and you would send it out to the Spanish-speaking queue, and it would say, "Okay, guys, who would like to pick up this appointment tomorrow at 3 o'clock?" So that's a queue feature for larger networks. If you know who the notary is going to be, yourself or one of your internal partners, you leave it there. And we're going to select a date and time. Let's say tomorrow. And let's say that's going to be tomorrow at 9:15. Now, this is in the time zone you are currently in. And again, we're a global company, so that will convert to the time zone that your signer is in. And then again, you select the ID valuation that you're going to use to conduct the session. For transactions, for demonstration purposes and practice, I leave it at personal knowledge. And also, this date is not a lockout. The client, just like if you invited them into your office at noon, there's nothing that stops them from showing up at 9. Your client can call you and say, "Hey, can we do it at noon today or 1 today?" Sure. You just both log in at that time and knock it out. Okay. To add the signer, you enter the signer's email address. Now, I've done Jane before, so my platform under my credential uh, recognizes her name. And you can change that ID valuation on the fly. Additional signers, let me undo that, are just the same process. Okay, if you want to add a witness, same thing. You enter that witness information. And as that a witness is just going to observe the intent of signature application by observation of both signers. Now, is it a credible witness that's going to verify and vouch for the identity of John? And I'm assuming Marcy, New York allows for that credible witness.
Yes, two witnesses.
Yeah, two
Well, one if
witnesses.
it's known to the notary and the person, two witnesses if the notary does not know them. So yes.
Right. So you would just add that second witness, and you could then say, okay, that's going to be witness for John, and as a result of that, John's going to go through an ID evaluation. And then a guest is someone's just going to attend but not going to sign anything. So all those are variables that occur across various jurisdictions. The platform has the capability to handle. But for the purpose of demonstrating this, I'm just going to have one signer. Here, if you have multiple notaries in your network, in your account, you select the notary that is going to transact that. And you click next. This is your journal where you would select the type of act or acts fee associated with the transaction. And because I've done Jane before under my login credentials, her address auto-populates. Now, if Jane was in a foreign country, no worries. We can go to the other country drop-down. Again, remember we're a global company. And select the country that Jane happens to be in today. But fortunately, Jane's here in the US. And we're going to say Jane's in Arizona. And we're going to start tagging the document. Watch what happens. I forgot to put in a zip code, forgot to complete the journal. The platform will recognize that error and prompt you to finish entry. And then notes are just your journal notes, can be entered before, during, and after a signing. They can't be erased, but they can be added. Okay, now we're going to start tagging the document. And this is the more tedious process. With larger customers, and we will work with your customer base, we have the ability to read the tags on the documents, the HTML codes on the native document, and automatically prep the document for you. But that's typically with larger accounts, and we will work with notaries on that. But I'm going to show you the manual process. It shows you the workflow and the logic. So that's a value. So I'm going to add. This time I'm going to add an initial. I'm going to change that to an initial. And I'm going to drag it down here. Like on a deed of trust, we know that there's multiple lines, multiple pages that require an initial. And I'm going to put that on those pages automatically. So I don't have to drag and drop, 8 times. So I'm going to put, say, page 1, 5, and 6, and it's already there. Okay, now you're going to go to page 5 where the signer's signature appears. And you're going to add the signer's signature to the document. Okay, now by default, I've said, you know what? In addition to Jane's signature, I want her name printed under her signature, which is often a requirement on many documents, and the date and time she signed it. And you can either have this as a default, or you can activate it live during the middle of a session, the prep session. Okay, then the last page is the notarial event. And I'm going to add the placeholder for the notary stamp. And remember, you do not want to have a platform that applies the stamp in advance of the session. You can't do that, or you shouldn't do that. This is just a placeholder. Okay, and I'm saying, okay, well, I do want the date and time I notarized it and my name printed under it as well. Okay, I'm going to add a person before me. I'm going to have a date field. Okay, this will automatically date when the client signs it, or you can date it right now, which is what I'm going to do. Okay, and then we also obviously are going to add the name of the signer to the acknowledgement as well. Okay, some of the elements that are also useful and will be used is you can add a checkbox. for an election, such as at close of escrow, how would you like funds distributed? Uh, Stop by the office, mail a check, auto deposit. We have the ability for you to use a strike through. If the venue is wrong, you can drop a strike, drop a text box, add your state, and then add a notary initial. Um, File upload button. If your client says, "Hey, the client has a well clearance report. I need that uploaded in the middle of the signing." You can do that as well. So stipulations, trailing stipulations that aren't with the original package, you can have uploaded during the middle of the signing. Okay, another cool feature that you're going to use, you're going to need this, is the ability to swap out pages. Your client calls you and say, "Hey, we've got a wrong description on the deed, page 3 and 4." You can swap those pages out. Where it's most commonly used is, let's say page 6 was a Louisiana acknowledgement, and you don't want to drop 5 strike throughs and initials. So you drop a text box, say "See attached acknowledgement." You click here, you go out and grab your state's acknowledgement, and now that 6-page doc set becomes a 7-page doc set that is tamper sealed. So it's not a loose acknowledgement. It's part of the doc set itself. So that's a very, very handy feature. The other feature is that, let's say you prepared this 45-page document with 8 signatures, 4 notary stamps, 10 frames or checkboxes, and the client calls you 5 minutes before the sign and say, "Hey, we've got a whole redraw. We got to redraw the whole document. Oh, and by the way, don't be late to the appointment," right? So you can log in and you can swap out the entire document out from under the tags, replace the new document under the tags. Now you may have to add some or remove or move a few around, but you don't have to reprep the entire document. That will happen, that does happen, and that's a huge time saver. Okay, so at this point, we're going to consider the document as being prepared, and we're going to go to the last step, and that's the step that sends the document out to you, the email appointment to you as the notary, and also the signer or signers, noting that the transaction's technically tomorrow. It's going to live on the platform till the 23rd. If it's not executed by then, it will be deleted, and you control the spread. How long do you want that document sitting out there? It's at this point that you could invoke Realify or deepfake detector. If your client is better served by the default invite and instructional pop-ups being in Spanish, you can elect it here. And again, that's a signer by signer election. If you have an attachment that the client must fill out, sign, and upload during the session, you can select that attachment to share it here. You have the ability under the branding package to create an unlimited number of email invites. The example being, let's say this person has to go through a KBA ID verification. An invite would prompt them, "Okay, how do I determine that my device is not behind a firewall that will prevent what's called an AV handshake?" That's important. Often that is sent out as its own email in advance. And then how to go through an ID evaluation process, how to log in and share your screen. And again, you have the ability to create an unlimited number of these. Another one would be somebody you personally knew. So that could be different. Okay, and then you send this out. So now we've created the package and we've sent the package out to the client with an email to the notary. Marcy, any questions up to this point?
No questions. You're doing a great job.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's meet. I'm going to go to my email and log in. Okay, let me share my screen in a moment. That's interesting. Marcy, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, let me grab the right screen.
I'll let you know as soon as I see it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, there's my invite. And let me go here to the Teams app. Here we go. Zoom. Here we go. Okay. Okay, are we in view, Mars?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Okay, let me go here. My Zoom app is okay. Share.
Oh, it's coming up now. I'll let you know as
There
soon
we
as I.
go.
There you go. You're here.
Okay. So this is the email that is sent to your client. You put your logo on it, and this would be your script. We do provide you with a number of boilerplate scripts in Word so you can edit them. If the client had to go through an ID evaluation, it would be here, start ID evaluation, and they can do that in advance if they like and is permitted. But to join the session on a cell phone, Android, iOS, tablet, pad, all they need to do is click here and enter that 4583 security code. And click continue. Now, at this point, the notary is going to get a ping to their cell phone and an email say, hey, you have a signer in the waiting room. Please go in and pick them up. You may, in the background, hear my cell phone ping. And at this point, the signer can look at the document. They can't do anything with it. Now, again, because I have multiple cameras, this big pop-up occurs, and I have to select a camera that's going to display the role as a signer. Okay, now I'm going to log in as the notary. And Marcy, let me know if you
Yep, it's
see
moving
it.
along.
Okay, good.
Yes, we're back to your home screen.
Okay, so now I'm going to log in as the notary. I just got a ping that Jane Signer is waiting for me to let her into the signing room. And again, the signer can log in at any time and look at the document and then log out. But they can't sign anything, they can't do anything until you grant them permission to do so. Okay, now this is specific to New York. New York requires that the notary acknowledge that they're in the state of New York while conducting this. And our platform does a geolocation that proves that in the audit trail, and I'll show you that at the end of the signing. So you acknowledge that you as a notary are in the state of New York. And I am going to,
Bill, out of curiosity, does any
yes.
other state require this pop-up, or is it only New York?
No, it's only New York. Now, all states require that their notaries be in their
Yes.
jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
But New York is so far is the only state that requires avocation of that. And,
Understood. Thank you.
and then it also in your audit log, it's going to show your geolocation to prove that.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm now going to go to the meeting room. And this handy pop-up would let me know the status of the ID, the status of the deep fake. If they hadn't completed this, it would say pending, pending. You could send them an email right from here or a text message, are we still good to go? And click start meeting. And we're going to share the screen. That's a requirement that the notary and the signer must be operating off a simultaneous view. Okay, now let me go flip over to the signer side. And now the signer can join the session by clicking the word join. Okay, now let me make sure. Okay, this is the signer. Oh, you know what I'm doing? I'm going to go back to the Zoom app and turn my camera off because it's robbing the signal.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I'll open up Zoom. Come on. Oh, come on. Zoom, open up.
Just looking at your desktop is giving me all sorts of anxiety.
I know, isn't it a mess? I mean, we got a few things going on here, guys, don't we all? Okay, let me see if I can ask it there. Okay, that's it. Cancel. Okay, let me go into the video and stop that. There we go. Okay, now let's go back to the platform. There's the notary side. You see the signers in session. Let me go to the signer side and now go to the notary side. And let me grab my camera here. That's where I would be rather than delay. Let's start this session. This is where you would do your introductory script saying, do you understand that this transaction will be recorded and your New York required elements. And again, you make sure that you let the signer know and that they agree to the provision of the recording of the event. That's an important element to put in your dialogue, and we will send you an example of the dialogue that you should be using, or as a coach to that, and you can add it as needed. Okay, let me go to my side now. Close that out. That's why I'm robbing here. Whoop. Let me do this. Okay, there's me in session. There's this signer. Again, bear with me as I stumble through this, switching cameras and browsers. That. Okay, so now you're doing your introductory script. You can add comments to your journal at this point. Many notaries will quickly review the document and say, "Oh, whoop, I forgot something." And in the middle of the signing, you can add a signature, you can add initial, essentially anything that you did during the preparatory process, you can do now in the middle of a session. Okay, so to begin the session, but first let me show you this Wheel of Fortune. Many states, and Marcy, you'd have to let me know if New York requires the notary to look at the ID in this session to confirm that the client
Yes.
has the ID in their possession.
Yes, front and back.
Yeah, okay, so what you do is you click on View ID. Okay, and we're personally known, so I don't have an ID, but this is what you would see. This screen would be live. You would show the front and the back. You would show the enlarged picture of the front, the liveness test that was biometrically matched to this, the ID score, the face matching score, if you did deepfake that as well. And this is a live screen where you could ask the client, uh, Jane Signer, could you please hold up that Arizona ID that was proven to be genuine? So you can then do the final stare and compare that the client is in possession of the ID that was determined to be genuine. And again, you can do your own face match. So that's how that works. So let's go back to the signer side here. And if you need to take a picture of a stipulation, let's say, you needed to prove residency at the subject property. The client could hold up to the camera their electric bill showing that John Jones does live at the subject property address, and you can capture that. And it becomes an exhibit that you could then send to your client. You can pause the recording. If you have a guest in the session that's an attorney and he wants a sidebar with the client, you can pause the recording. It still runs, but there's no audio video other than the live communication. Doesn't become part of the journal. Okay, but to execute the transaction, you just select your first signer. Okay, let me flip over here to the signer side. Signer must agree to the use of electronic records and digital signature technology. That becomes part of your audit log. Share their screens, proving simultaneous view. And now the signer can sign. Now you can either scroll or the document will advance to the next required element. Now, the first time Jane clicks here, let me show you what she's going to see. Now, I've signed her before, so we've determined how she wants her signature intent displayed. But the first time they can select a font, they can draw on their mouse, their screen, their scratch pad. They can upload an actual image of their handwritten signature. This is very useful when you're doing attorney in fact. So your signer has to sign Jane Signer, and she also has to sign in cursive Jane Signer as attorney in fact for John Signer. They can also draw their name on their phone pad. So that would be then transmitted to the platform. Typically, most people select fonts. So then they just click here to sign. There's a confirmation step. They didn't accidentally sign it. Again, these little nuances like a confirmation step are important when it gets to proving non-repudiation. So there's a lot of security and safety, safe checks, safeguards that are in the background.
Bill, I have a question for you.
Yes,
They
yes.
want to know, is the face match also included in your journal?
As the actual picture of the face
I
in
assume
the
that's what
ID?
they're asking. If that's not,
Uh,
whoever
no,
asked the question.
we don't store the ID because we don't want personal information stored. Now, the results of the face match are stored in your journal. Yes,
Great. Perfect. So it's the result and not the actual ID itself. Okay,
correct.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, because again, you don't want to be storing personal information
No,
of a
absolutely.
client.
Perfect.
Okay, now you're going to see a pop-up in the right-hand corner of the page indicating that everything Jane was supposed to have done is indeed done. But let's assume, and this is going to happen, that during the presentation, you saw that you missed something. You close this, neutralizing the screen, and you can add a signature, a checkbox, an initial. It's a second point in the process to allow you to remediate the document if you miss something. And trust me, you will need this. You then return control back to Jane. She signs it, and it comes back to you. Does that make sense? Okay, now let's say you had a two-part signing, Jane in the morning, John in the afternoon. You would close out the session, and you'll see a pop-up that would occur that says, what about John? You would reschedule John for later that day, or you could reschedule him for tomorrow, in which case you would need to go into the document and add another acknowledgement because Jane signed on Thursday, but John signs on Friday. But to finish the notarization, you just select yourself, confirmation step. You agree to the use of technology and you begin signing the document, and it goes from document to document to document. You can either scroll or the document, it will automatically advance. You see, I've got my name and the date and time I signed, and then I'm going to add my stamp, and this tamper seals the document. Once the document is tamper sealed, you can't make any changes. But there's something I want to show you here that is used in many court environments. You see this doc ID? We created just for the judicial districts. The first one actually was for bankruptcy court, that the court only allowed submission of paper-based documents. So the opposing attorney, the clerk of the court, can go into our platform, can enter this string and get the audit trail. So that they know that Jane Signer signed that, their ID was proven. So it's a great safety net when you have to present documents in paper-based fashion. Typically, you'll also create, and I don't know what they call it, Marcy, in New York, but a document of authentication saying that this is an authentic copy of the document that was executed electronically. Okay, so we're done. We're going to leave here, and let me show what happens on the signer side. It's part of the branding package. What will occur is you'll see a pop-up that indicates secured signing. This would go to the web page that we provide you or your web page within your website. You could ask for a review, a referral, let them know other services, may apostille services that you offer, ask for a survey. Again, this is part of the branding patching that you can turn on or off. So now let's go back to the platform and see where our document is. So I'm going to sign in, and Marcy, please let me know if you see my screen.
Okay, I'm watching for it. I see you back at the home page. So yeah, perfect.
Okay. So now I'm going to log into how does the client get their document? There's a number of ways. You can allow the client at the end of the session in that pop-up that you just saw to download them directly from our server. So that way they're not going around the internet via email, which is prohibited in certain market verticals. You can also go into the platform, click on signed, and you can email that document. Now, when I say email, you're emailing the client a link that goes directly to our website with a security code that they then download that document. Now that's important, guys. I don't suggest just emailing all that NPI information just willy-nilly around the internet. I do suggest that you allow them to either download it directly from our server at the end of the session, or from here, email them a link directly to our server, which stores their email address, compares it to the email address they're at, and then they can download it with a security code. The platform also includes what's called a signing completion certificate. This is a mini audit trail, and many environments want this, certainly financial institutions. This document in and of itself is tamper sealed. It shows who created the document, who the signers were, uh, their geolocation, their IP address. I'm in Mountain Standard Time here in Arizona. Um, and it goes over creek critical events. Let me show you a couple. Here's the signer IP address. I'm in Arizona, so if I was a New York notary, I'd be in trouble, right? The IP address in the region that Jane was in. Uh, if you the acknowledgement of the address of the signer. Now, I am as a notary, I changed my venue to New York. So there's a conflict between where my venue is and where my signing was. So that would be a problem, but I know all of you guys are in New York when you do your stuff, so that will not be an issue. But this is included, and you can allow that to be sent automatically, or you can send it to the signer. You, of course, has access to your journal, access to the recording, access to the document to view it. Uh, and we have a huge amount of reports that you can run. Uh, so that's how the platform operates. IPEN is also an option. IPEN, the nice thing about IPEN is it really mimics the paper-based workflow, and it literally costs you less on our platform to do an IPEN than it does to print the documents. It's $1 a stamp, that's it. So if you had 5 stamps, 5 notarial events in the doc set, that's $5. You can't print docs for that. And it's a great way of weaning your clients away from a paper-based environment. Okay, so let me close this out. Go back to my PowerPoint. Marcy, do you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Technology is great when it works, right?
Would you love that?
Um, Questions, Marcy? Do we have any, or anybody want to ask any questions about anything that they've seen?
But I'm going to open up. Did you say, and I'm sorry if I missed this, does Secured also allow for RIN?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I know what Montana, Alabama still have RIN, and there's another state up to my head. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's about a dozen of them. So we
Yeah,
love
that all
to make sure that we tell everyone that that's an
yeah,
option
yeah.
too.
Ron, RIN, iPin, e-signatures with video confirmation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't see any questions. I'll give you all another minute or two to certainly ask. We do, if you're on, we do have the prior demo and a bunch of additional items that Secured gave us a really great checklist that compares platform to platform on our NINA website. That you can go on there under trusted partners and run resources to get that information. And I think we also have a discount on there for Secured.
Yeah.
So certainly make sure you go on there. We will add this on as well, along with the video for the deep fake that Bill's going to send over to me. But Bill, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
think it was a great demonstration. It certainly shows the value that Secured has. Any parting words that you'd like to add?
Oh, sure. Again, thanks so much for attendance. Marcy will send you that checklist to compare. It's vital because we knew early on that notaries don't know the questions to ask, and that arms you with those questions. We do hold live demos every Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern time. You can go to our website and you can register to attend the demo. If you're registered but can't attend, we will send you a recording of that. So again, guys, thank you so much for your attendance. I know we're right on the 1 hour mark. So Marcy, thank you so much for the opportunity. And if you have any questions, Marcy has my email address, bill.gimbel, Gimbel, at securedsigning.com, or you can go to helpdesk@securedsigning.com, at staff 6 days a week, 18 hours a day. So Marcy, thank you so much.
Attending. Hope you really got some great information. Phil is super responsive, so certainly we'll make sure to get all the information out in the comments below when we post the links. But I hope you all have a great day, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Bye-bye, guys.